New Year greetings! Apologies for my absence, but I've been having a bit of trouble with an irritating arsehole the past couple of years. But I finally got him out of my life. There's been a plague of irritating arseholes of late. My own one was my boss. Yes, I do have a job, Neil. All this doesn't pay for itself, you can. Arseholes are everywhere. And of course, the more people you're surrounded by, the higher the likelihood of an arsehole being among them. Anyone who's driven from Scotland to London via the M1 and M25 will tell you that. In an ideal world, being an arsehole should be as socially unacceptable as Haiti Hopkins. Jeebus, tell me there's not a serial killer in the making in that lot. She's paid to be an arsehole. When did that become a job, eh? Arseholes far and wide these days. America just elected one. Sorry, another one. We've even got our unfair share in Scotland. Just hang around any set of traffic lights in Edinburgh here for 5 minutes to witness a huge number of arseholes that fail to understand the concept of a red light. Politics and the media are littered with lying arseholes. Anyway, I had to take a step back for them because it was driving me in the twist. But I'm back. You may have read a recent story about a ruling by the BBC Trust which means it's perfectly fine for BBC Scotland to lie. Here's the gist. The BBC reports that a report from an independent think tank reckons that raising income tax in Scotland by 1p will be a good thing for local councils, when in fact it was a blog written by a former advisor to Tony Blair. Hardly independent or an academic study worthy of being a headline news for the entire day. So if it's cool for the BBC, then it's cool for us too. So here's some news in the style of the BBC. Hello and welcome to the McVews. Daily windbag Andrew Neil became possessed by the spirit of former MP Ian Davidson during an interview with the Scottish Government's Finance Minister Derek Mackay. Mr Neil began foaming at the mouth when challenged on his interpretation of the Holyrood budget in relation to the local council funding for the next financial year. He invited Mr Mackay out for a square go, forgetting they were in separate cities and countries, and said that the Fraser of Allender Institute's mother sucks cocks in hell. His demonic ravings continued off-air and onto Twitter as he labelled all SNP supporters dole spongers and claimed that he pays their wages. A spokesman for the BBC later said that Mr Neil was feeling much better and back to normal after his producer made up a cup of chamomile tea using holy water. However, it's the belief of one cybernat that Andrew finally shut his fat face after being quizzed on his tax affairs. It's been reported that Andrew Neil is paid more than £500,000 a year by the BBC, but since he is incorporated, it's unclear if he pays the top rate of income tax or the much lower corporation tax. Mr Neil declined to comment. The Conservative Party in Scotland were accused of being a pack of blithering idiots by their masters in Westminster, after a series of embarrassing internet gaffes. British bulldog Ruth Davidson appeared in an image holding a placard calling for people to donate to the Yemen crisis appeal. It was quickly pointed out to the silly Billy that it was British-made bullets and bombs sold to Saudi Arabia that were being dropped onto the people of Yemen. Next, the List MSP Jamie Green, Conservative Shadow Minister for Technology, Connectivity, Digital Economy and Making Stuff Off on the Hoof, seen here trying to remember his own name, posted an attack on Twitter accusing the SNP of failing to improve Scotland's telecommunications infrastructure, only to be told by anyone with a brain that that particular issue is reserved to Westminster. Then, Miss Davison called the SNP bad for not looking after the country's NHS. Nicola Sturgeon told Ruth Davison to get back to her when her own shit don't stink. Staying with the Tories, a Freedom of Information request issued by them found that only 80% of the seats on Edinburgh's tram network were being occupied. Unionist List MSP Miles Briggs, as well as believing Santa is real, said that if we took out the seats, cut the number of trams running and bumped the price, the percent of profits could be increased by a percentage of something. Yes, the trains might resemble an Indian rail network, but no one in the Conservative Party cares about the comfort of plebs. Comfort is for the rich anyway, not proles. Humza Yousaf is a total and utter useless bastard according to a handful of people. Not only has he only made around 97% of Scotland's train run on time, but he's also being held responsible for the travel chaos caused by storms over the festive period, and all the irresponsible arseholes that drive with disregard for other road users. Scotland's Minister for Transport and generally all-round nice guy was also caught driving without insurance. Conservative MSP Jackson Carlisle had said that it was an honest mistake which anyone could make, but he was quickly denounced as a naff crackpot by the Tory rent-a-gob Murdo Fraser. Fraser called on the Transport Minister to be crucified at Ibrox before the next Rangers game, and said, "Whoa! Jesus, Murdo! I hope you kiss Ruth Davison with that mouth. That's bound to cause an infection." I'm not repeating that. And finally, a heartwarming story to cheer everyone up. Hate peaked at its highest level since official records began in 2016, with the Office for Bumfluff Responsibility predicting it will continue to rise in 2017. Whilst the bulk of the rise was due to racist pricks feeling legitimised by the Brexit vote, a steady increase came in the form of idiots spewing bile on social media at anyone they perceive as being against their personal ideals, as well as continued arse gravy printed in tabloids owned by tax-avoiding media oligarchs. But most surprising was the rise in hate from those that are campaigning for an end to hate. If you're watching, then you know who you are. And before you get all defensive and tell me to go fuck myself, just take a few calming deep breaths and ask yourself, do I hate? Because there's way too many of you. It was few and far between a few years ago. Isolated incidents did crop up and it was sad to witness. Like the clown at an anti-UKIP rally who hurled dogs abuse at people who had turned up for a wedding and accidentally went to the wrong entrance. Or this for a crowd at an anti-fascist rally under the banner of hope, not hate. It's this sort of crap that makes me think that all those talented individuals who died in 2016 were not taken from us. They left. Who wants to live in a world of hate? Bowie didn't sing about the rebel hot tramp that he hated so. Prince didn't want your Glasgow kiss. In a world of ever-increasing Trumps and Hopkins who spread hate and fear, we have to be the Corbyns and Woods who bring joy and laughter. Well, we've just enough time for a quick look at the weather. An infection of fear from Westminster will drive a swathe of fiery, cock-burning piss across the nether regions, with a national front bringing pockets of shite over the entire country. However, a warm front of hope coming from the north will see sporadic outbreaks of love, which will slowly nudge the piss and shit back to where it came from. That's all for me, so until next time, please be nice. Now, if only I can find out where my pants are.